What's up guys, and welcome to this new video where we talk about one of the most popular topics out there in e-commerce, and this is finding products. And today we're talking about sourcing them locally. So not as always as most people do it from China with all the typical issues that come with it, but rather how can you find products locally in the sense of where your customer lives. So in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, etc. For example. In this video, we will talk first of all a little bit about the differences between like local dropshipping e-commerce and Asian or China-based dropshipping. Then I will present to you a super exciting tool that I've actually been regularly using for more than like 2 years already. I've already mentioned it a very long time ago, like briefly on this channel, but a lot of things have changed since then. So that's why I do this new video here in the first place. And then afterwards, I show you how the tool works, how you can use it for yourself. And we talk a little bit about Google Ads in regards to local-based dropshipping as well. So without further ado, let's get started so that you know what I'm talking about here. First of all, let's talk very briefly at least about sourcing from China versus locally, right? So if you source your products, your dropshipping products, your e-commerce products from China, you have pretty slow, unreliable shipping. That's not a secret, right? Things take pretty long to arrive. You have quality issues because you cannot really check on your products beforehand, and often it's like fairly low quality mass production, depending at least what you buy. You have communication problems every now and then because the suppliers, don't always speak proper English. They don't always exactly know what you mean. Tariffs and import duties can be pretty difficult to manage. Like if your products arrive at the customer's door, worst case, he has to pay something in terms of duties, or they cannot get the product immediately. All of these things happen, of course. And especially now it's pretty tough because of COVID, right? So we have even more problems these days because of shipping, even for shipping that is even more delayed than usual. So there are a ton of problems that come with it. Now, when we look at the other side, let's, for example, say sourcing from the USA to the USA, we have fast shipping. We have higher quality, at least depending on the case, of course. It's not like general or per se that products sourced from the US are better inherently than from Asia, for example. We have easier communication, of course. There are no duties because you source from within a country. You can easier source and sell high ticket products because suddenly think about that. If you are selling, or if you try to sell like a sofa, it doesn't really make sense to source it from China and then drop ship it straight to the customer. This may cost you like several $100s just in shipping, but as soon as you actually start doing it locally, this can actually make sense. So high ticket items are easier, very important. And then ultimately, last but not least, returns are possible as well. A very common problem if you dropship from China is that if people don't like it, they cannot really return it, right? They cannot like just send it back to China because that does make sense shipping wise. So typically you just have to refund them. Now, if you source and sell locally, it kind of makes sense. If you have a supplier that accepts returns, makes it very powerful for you because now you can tell people, hey, you know what, just send your product back, we will give you the money back, but you can eventually reuse the product. So these are pretty powerful and important points here that you should definitely not miss when you are thinking about whether to source from China or from the US, right? Now, the tool that I'm talking about that I've mentioned in the introduction of this video is Spock. Now, if you don't know Spock, it's a great tool. They started as a tool to like dropship products from Etsy to your customer using Shopify. Now they have gotten like way more dedicated in terms of they do all kind of dropshipping stuff. So basically they're just a platform that lets you dropship products in a very like modern way. Lots of really cool products. They work in a way completely different than AliExpress, but it's a very powerful platform because you don't have all the typical hassles that you have when sourcing stuff from the US, for example, in general. So why Spock? There is a list of pre-curated products. You can create and use custom invoices, which is very powerful. Like you can then put your own invoices into the box of the product, which of course adds way more sort of professionalism to this entire thing. Many of these products are high quality and even handcrafted. I will talk about that when I'm showing you the tool in the second step of this video. And it makes it easier to build your brand with Spock because of the way the products are structured, because of the higher quality, the faster shipping. Basically, the mix of all those other benefits lets you also brand the products much easier, right? So I want to now show you how Spocket actually looks like, the backend, like the key and the core of this video, so that you understand how you may also be able to use it for your own business. So stick with me and let's jump straight into the Spocket dashboard and I show you how you can use it. All right, so we are looking at my Spocket account. I have a premium account, which is not really something that you absolutely need, but it definitely comes with a whole set of perks that you can then use as well. The link for Spocket is in the description. You can decide whether you want to use the free version, premium version. You know, in both cases, it's actually a pretty powerful tool. So as you see here, you know, you have all these different elements over here. You have more info about like blogs and interviews and their Facebook group, etc. But then that's where you see all those different products, right? You see on the left hand, for example, my import list, which is where you put the products that are interesting for you into. But let's actually have a look at the top, which is the most interesting thing, this filtering system here, right? So of course you can enter a keyword. If you're looking for a specific product, you can enter the keyword, you can enter the name of that product, very straightforward. But here is where things get pretty interesting. First of all, let's say you want to sell in the US. You can say, for example, that you only want to source products that are located in the US and they are shipping to the US as well, right? So if we go here to the very bottom, we see United States. So by doing so, the search is now limited to products that are in the US and they can also be shipped to the US. Very powerful, because now you can be sure that shipping times, at least in most cases, is relatively fast. You see here already, you know, first product, 1 to 3 day shipping, 1 to 3 day, 4 to 7 days, 1 to 3 days, and it goes on, it goes on. Now there are still products where shipping takes like 10, 12 days and stuff like that. As I said, some of these products are actually handmade. Some of these products are just literally created or crafted the moment you buy them or pay for them. So even in this case, you sometimes have slower shipping, but in many cases you get very fast shipping if you use that. So what you can do now on top of that is you can select suppliers, which I don't really recommend because, you know, you probably don't know any of these suppliers in the first place. So checking for them specifically only makes sense as soon as you actually started using one of these. What can be interesting is sorting by relevance, price, etc., but not for us right now. These badges here are also pretty cool. Let's say, for example, you want to build a brand around like ethical standards and like vegan, you know, let's do something like a natural, ethically sourced brand that is focused a lot on these sort of aspects that are very popular right now, right? You can say ethically sourced, and now you're only presented with products that are actually ethically sourced by the definition of Spocket. Now I'm not sure exactly what the guidelines for that are and how they sort of check that, but now you only get presented with products where you can legitimately put on your store like, hey, all our products are ethically sourced, and then of course you can explain that a little bit more. Like you can, maybe we'll find out, actually I didn't really look it up too much, but you can probably find out why it's ethically sourced, and then I'm sure it's somewhere here in the Spocket description or in the settings in the help center, and then you can put it on your store saying, hey, all our products are ethically sourced, and so on and so forth, which of course is a very strong and positive argument for a lot of people when they come to your store. Also, you can say made in the US, another very strong argument. If you put that on your store for your products, you know, saying everything was made in the US, if you sell in the US as well, very powerful. There are a lot of people, they don't have to be patriots, right, in order to really think that that's a cool thing. If you sell tons of things, tons of products or very cheap things, it makes sense to check, for example, the high inventory list. Let's actually remove ethically sourced, the high inventory list, because that means that there are a ton of products in stock. And if you plan to sell a lot of products, let's say, for example, those masks, right? Great example during those crazy times we just had and still have. It's of course important to know that there are products that have a very high volume or that are stocked in a very good way. So that really helps you to find out and plan accordingly, instead of just running into inventory problems once something actually works. And then we have two more. We have the free USA shipping that I just left out because to me it's not super important, but of course it's self-explanatory. We have the under $5. Let's actually remove the high inventory here. We have the under $5, which presents you with all kind of interesting, cool items that you might want to sell at a very low price, where the resistance of customers should be relatively low, where it should be relatively easy to seal the deal. Of course, Careful, you always have to check, of course, if that still makes sense with margins. For example, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, whatever you're using. And yeah, we have the premium products, which are like an even more specially selected set of products. But as I said, it's not absolutely necessary. You might want to check it out. But the premium version of Spock is definitely interesting. So how you can use this now is basically in whatever way you want, right? If you want to build a niche store, for example, if you want to build a niche store around a certain topic, Spock is a very, very interesting way to do so, because you get all these pretty interesting and pretty powerful options to find products that look good, that are well designed, that have high quality. And it's much easier, of course, to build a niche store around these things than around, for example, products where you cannot be sure about their quality and where you cannot be sure how exactly they're produced, which materials are in there. So the entire marketing part basically gets easier with Spock. If you're using it, you can actually like confidently talk about the sourcing process, about the products, about everything. Your page can look much cleaner, higher quality. You can use all those arguments on your product pages, and of course the entire shipping and sourcing part. Now, why I like Spock, of course, is because you have these pre-selected products, and then you can still niche it down further according to your personal taste. What I have to say though, because of course not everything is great about a tool, that's never the case. Of course, the selection is smaller than, for example, on AliExpress, right? We don't have to talk about that. It's pretty obvious that you don't have millions of products on Spock just the way you have on AliExpress, Alibaba, and all these other platforms. Of course, it's impossible because they are pre-vetted, they are pre-selected, curated products, and you see already that even though they have a ton of suppliers, it doesn't get anywhere close to the amount of suppliers that you have on AliExpress and Alibaba, right? But technically, it shouldn't even matter to you, because in my opinion, it's all about the quantity. It's all about the quality and not the quantity of products. And that's exactly what you get here. I much rather know that every product that I could get here is pretty cool, high quality, than getting overwhelmed with like millions of products that you can source from Ali, but you really, really, really have to dig deeper before you find something that's actually usable, powerful, interesting for whatever you are planning. So as you know, I'm always recommending niche stores. That's why Spock is also something that I would utilize with a niche store. I cannot really imagine it too much with a general store, even though I'm pretty sure that works as well. But since it's also like visual and high quality and so on, I personally feel that it's pretty much designed to use in niche stores, but that's totally up to you. I just wanted to make sure that you really know what this is about and that you understand the power of using this versus the standard dropshipping tools and websites that many of you guys are using. Now, for the very end of this video, of course, I mentioned something with Google Ads as well. So what's now the power of using that with Google Ads? Because all you guys know, I'm all about using this platform versus like Facebook ads, Instagram, influencers, all that thing. These are all cool traffic sources, but I'm of course on this channel, we are totally focused on PPC, Google Ads in particular. The good thing here is that many of these products can get pretty expensive, right? So there are a lot of very high priced products where you still know that the quality is good. High margins means way easier to sell on Google Ads with Google Shopping, for example, Google Search. Also, what's very powerful is that many of these products have very good looking images, and many of these images and products are not already overused. So if you go for typical standardized AliExpress products that many people are selling, let's say, for example, those typical neck massage devices, right? Or those anti-theft backpacks. There are so many products that are like kind of common in the dropshipping community, and you find them everywhere on Google Shopping, for example. Now, of course, you may find some of these products there as well, but I can tell you it's way, way, way less common. So if you build a store, a niche around products that you find here on Spock in whatever space, garden, bathroom, furniture, fashion, gadgets, whatever, you can be sure that you will have less competition on Google Ads, Google Shopping in particular. So if you're using this platform, which of course I always recommend you should, then you will definitely sort of be happy using the products that you can find here in this tool. As I mentioned, it's kind of focused on, it's pretty important to know that it's kind of focused on this beauty, fashion, sort of accessories part. That's where I believe you have the most products inside Spocket, but there are many other niches and categories to explore. So what I recommend you guys now finally is to check the tool out. As I said, there's a complete free version. There's a link in my description. If you use it, I get a tiny commission for that, but you know, it's definitely not something where I say it's like a paid collaboration or anything like that. It's just that I recommend the tool. I know the guys who founded it. It's an awesome tool. Use the link or don't. It's totally up to you. I definitely don't shoot this video just because of that small commission percentage. But you know, if you are struggling or if you don't know how to source and where to source your products, that's definitely one platform that you can use. Don't use it exclusively necessarily. Don't, you know, act like this is the only thing out there that works. But, you know, it's definitely one thing that you can add to the mix. Especially if you're kind of lost or confused right now, you want to do something else, make sure you give it a try and see what you can find on there. And of course, beyond that, if you then, you know, think, okay, now I got the products, now I know where I can source them from, how do I properly advertise it? Then you can come back to this channel, watch all these videos here on Google Ads, Google Shopping, and so on and so forth. Also check the other link in the description, which is getting to talk with me personally and talking a little bit about your business and how Google Ads can actually help it take it to the next level. But you know, one thing after another. First, make sure that you get your whole sourcing and niche and product sourcing part in place. So with this being said, we've been talking for like 14-15 minutes now, so I think that's good enough for you to understand what's going on with the platform. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you get a good overview on how this tool works, and I'm really looking forward to see you in the next video. So don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you want to see more stuff like this as well, and feed the algorithm a little bit. And with this being said, now finally guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video as well. Bye bye.